thanks for tuning in. Hope you're all well, wherever you are, whatever you are up to. This is week 3 of my little mini summer wardrobe series for this year, which is all themed around one pattern 4 ways. So the one pattern being the Truebias Ogden cami, which is what I'm wearing just now. So if you missed the past 2 weeks, week 1 was all about the cami itself. Week 2 was about the Tilly and the Buttons marigold trousers, and then I have chosen another pattern for this week, which is going to give you some more separates that you can pair the camisole with. So I have chosen the Truebias Lander pants, and they come with 3 length versions. So you've got a shorts version, an ankle, trousers with an ankle length, so they're sort of cropped a little bit, and then boot length as well. So I know I've chosen another pair of trousers, but they are really different to the marigolds. The marigolds are really sort of comfy and quite loose and with a very kind of floaty fabric, whereas the Landers are high-waisted and they've got a button fly, and so they're quite fitted at the waist, fitted over the hips and the bum, and then they sort of straighten out into quite a wide leg at the bottom. So they're much different shape to the marigolds, and then also use a totally different fabric as well. So the fabric that's recommended with the pattern is something that's quite structured, with little or no stretch, so medium to heavyweight, and they recommend twill, linen, cord or denim. So I have chosen to use some linen because that's obviously a really lovely fabric to wear in the summertime, keeps you nice and cool. And this fabric is perfect for pants like this, trousers like this, because it presses really well, it's really easy to handle and work with, and I think it looks awesome too. So for my 2 versions that I've made, for the shorts I chose this really lovely light blue colour, which I just totally love for shorts, it's really nice. And then for the trousers, I chose just a classic navy because it's just going to go with loads and loads of stuff in your wardrobe, whether it's stuff that you've made or stuff that you've already got. I think it's just really useful, versatile colour to have in a separate. So that is what I chose for my 2 versions. So in terms of sizing, I chose to make a size 4, which corresponds with my body measurements, but remember these are American sizes, so do just measure yourself and choose a size based on that. I'm usually like a UK 8 or 10, so that will hopefully give you some context as to where you might fall in the pattern ranges, but of course just check your size before you actually choose. And the way that these trousers are constructed is that they've got a 1-inch seam allowance at the side seam. That's just at the side seams, it's not anywhere else, and it's to help with fitting a little bit. So the way that they recommend that you do it is to like sew it up, you put the fly in and everything, and then when you do the side seams you just baste it at 1 inch and then try them on and then see if you need to adjust it at all. You can obviously let it out because it's got a bigger seam allowance, or you can take it in a little bit. So you have to leave the seam allowance as it is at the waist, or else the waistband won't fit. And then so then you can change the rest of it, and then once you've made the adjustment just sew it in normally. So I actually just did it at the 1-inch seam allowance and then I didn't change it. So these are like the ones that I'm wearing are literally like how a size 4 come like straight out the pattern. Now normally when I make trousers, I mean I say normally, I've only really made gingers before, like on several occasions, and when I've made the ginger jeans before, I've done a small bum flat bum adjustment, which is where you just sort of take a wedge out of the back crotch rise really. So I did consider doing that with these ones as well, but I wanted to just see how they fitted first, so I actually made the shorts first, and I decided to just like make it straight up out the pattern with no adjustment. But then I thought like it looked good, it looked fine, I was like quite happy with the fit, so I thought fine, I won't do it for the trousers, I'll just make the straight up size 4 again. So did that for the trousers, and then I mean I think it's fine, but probably if I was going to make the trousers again I would probably do a flat bum adjustment the next time. I think I can get away with it just because the legs are wider, you know, they're not like really wide right at the thigh, but they're not skinny and fitted like the gingers are, so I think you can kind of disguise it a little bit more that there is a bit of excess fabric there. The pockets are also really big on the bum of the Landers, which I think just helps to sort of kind of disguise the need for that a little bit. You know, it's just a different style of pant, and it is meant to be a bit looser in that area if you're comparing it to something like the ginger jeans that are quite fitted. But yeah, that's just sort of something to bear in mind really, and something that I would do if I make them again, which I think I probably will. I would probably just do a little bit of a flat bum adjustment for me. But in terms of everything else, it's just like the lengths and everything are all just as it sort of comes out the packet. The waistband on these trousers is a rectangle, like it's just a total kind of simple rectangle shape that you cut out. And I have sort of seen some people mention that they've adapted it to make it curved. And then Layla, who teaches quite a lot of our workshops at the shop, she's made the Lander pants, and she put the waistband of the ginger jeans onto the Lander, and the waistband of the ginger jeans is curved. It just means that it'll maybe sit a bit flatter against your waist there. I mean, I think it's fine with the rectangle, like it doesn't really bother me that much, to be honest, but it just sort of depends on your preferences, and if you're quite experienced at sewing trousers, then that might be something that you know you want to do. But if you're not that experienced with sewing trousers, or you're still sort of sewing your first few pairs, just stick with the rectangular shape. You know, as I said, I think it's fine. I think it's good. And the details on this pattern are just really nice as well. It's got the belt loops, which I really like, and then these patch pockets. So I mentioned the big pockets on the bum before, and then it's also got these lovely big patch pockets at the front too. And I think it looks nice with the top stitch. I ended up adding in a second line of top stitching just because I quite like top stitching. I just used normal thread for it, so I didn't use top stitch thread. I think that might be a bit heavy on this style with this type of fabric, with linen fabric. If you were making it with denim, then yeah, you could use top stitch thread, but I just used regular thread to do the top stitching. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, just really love the details that are around there, and the button flies I think is really nice too. It sort of makes it a bit more of a feature. Again, sorry to keep going on about the ginger jeans, but it's just like a good comparison that I've got, because they are another pair of trousers, but they are quite different. I really like the way that the fly came together in this one. The instructions were really clear. You just need to make sure that you are quite precise in where you put, there's like a little circle marking on the front crotch rise, and then on the fly shield, is it called the fly shield? I can't remember, the sort of curved bit. So as long as you've got those markings in place, then when you come to sort of line everything up, and you have to like stop sewing at a point, and then you have to sew to kind of meet that point, it'll make sense when you're doing it. It'll just mean everything works and sort of fits together a lot better. So that would probably be my top tip for when you come to do the flies. Just make sure you've got all your pattern markings on. It's something quite basic, but it will help a lot, and actually it's not as scary as you would think to put that fly in. I really enjoyed putting it in. And also this fabric generally is quite satisfying to work with, the linen, because it presses really well. Just make sure that you have always got water in your iron so that it steams. The steam will help a lot in terms of setting the fabric and making sure that it's nice and flat and crisp. So they're my two top tips really. I've not got any other kind of amazing words of wisdom, which I want you to take as a positive, because it means that they're actually quite straightforward. And if you're feeling a bit daunted about giving these a go, then you've got my oomph behind you to say go for it and give it a go, because they're actually not too bad, and they're really nice, satisfying trouser to make. I really enjoyed making both of the versions. So in terms of combining the Landers with the camisoles, I have put the shorts with the plain version of the Ogden, which is the one I'm wearing just now, and I think it looks really nice as a sort of casual outfit, so just with like some comfy sandals and a summer hat. Or you could kind of dress it up a little bit more if you were like on holiday and kind of going out or whatever, put it on with some fancy shoes. I think it looks really fun as well. And then for the trousers, again, I think it's really lovely to dress this up or dress it down so they look really cool and nice with the comfy sandals. Birkenstocks are always my top favourite comfy sandals if I know I'm going to be doing a lot of walking or being my feet all day. But then equally it looks really cool when you dress them up with some funky shoes too. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how versatile these patterns can be, whether you're wearing them with a top that's like the Ogden cami, or you've got other little sort of summer tops that you wear it with too. I think they're really easy to just slot into a summer wardrobe, and made up in linen is just so lovely and comfortable and cool to wear at this time of year. It's currently really hot in Birmingham at the moment, which I am loving. So I'm just feeling like really into these Landers, and I want to make loads. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that. Next week is going to be the last week, and I've got one more pattern which I won't say much about just now, build up a bit of suspense, but it's also a really nice one. Again, it's a separate, so it's good for mixing and matching. And of course there'll be a blog post that goes with this video, so I'll link to that in the description. And then also we do have the kits to go, so we've got kits for the shorts and kits for the trousers, so there'll be a link to that in the blog post. They are limited stock, so just remember that if you're watching in the future, I'm really sorry if they're sold out already. We do sell the items individually, but we just only have a limited stock of like the combination of things all together. So yeah, I hope you have a good week, guys. Thanks for watching. Just remember to hit subscribe if you haven't already, because then you won't miss the next video, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.